Practically every single major Muslim organization in the United States today is either an affiliate or a front group for the Muslim Brotherhood. Nearly, virtually every single one. These are some of the major ones that are most known or public and popular, let's say. Here is a view of the document, one of those documents, and I have a copy of it with me if you want to look at it closer up. This is the document presented at that trial, that Holy Land Foundation trial. And very helpfully, although the front part, as you can see, is written in Arabic, later on it goes into English. And they provide a list of our organizations and the organizations of our friends. How helpful. And here's a list of 29 of them, just laid out for us. These are the Muslim Brotherhood front groups in the United States, at least the 29 top ones that they put into this document. So, I mean, they've self-identified. There's no question that these are Brotherhood fronts, right? And here are the various logos that we just had on that other montage slide, corresponding to each of these organizations. We have ISNA, Islamic Society of North America, MSA, the Muslim Student Association, which, by the way, was the very first Muslim Brotherhood organization officially to be established in the United States at the University of Illinois in 1963. That's when the Muslim Brotherhood first founded its first organization. That was the Muslim Student Association, of which there are now probably representatives on at least or more than 600 campuses, North America, that's United States and Canada. Here we have the North American Islamic Trust, NAIT. It holds the deeds of trust to over 80% of the mosques in the United States of America. More than 80% of American mosques, their deeds of trust are held by this organization, which is the Muslim Brotherhood Front Group. We've got the Fiqh Committee of North America, we have CARE, we have Islamic Circle of North America, and we have the IIIT, so-called International Institution of Islamic Thought, a kind of a think tank for Islamic thinking in the United States. That headquarters, by the way, of IIIT, it's out by Dulles Airport in Northern Virginia. All right, let's start with CARE. I'm not going to go through all of them. We don't have the time, but let me just illustrate a couple of the most prominent. And so we, I think, need to start with CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations. You'll see it on the list here as Islamic Association for Palestine. That was its earlier name. It was later turned into CARE. That is the same thing. When you're looking at that, that's the same organization. All right, CARE basically is Hamas in the United States. And how do we know that? Because back in 1993, the top leadership of Hamas, which was under the scrutiny of the FBI at that time, got together in a meeting in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And they realized that they needed to do something to sort of disguise their presence. I mean, 1993, you had Hamas blowing up buses in Jerusalem full of Israeli school kids. So they wanted to distance themselves from that name. And that's what the meeting was about. And the FBI was onto it, and they recorded it. They monitored that meeting. But the meeting was of the top American leadership of Hamas, among whom was Abu Musa Marzouk and others. And they decided to form a new organization, which would be sort of a step away from Hamas. But it's Hamas. And so they founded CARE. And that's where CARE came from. The Hamas leadership of the United States formed CARE in 1993. Well, if you wonder about the association between CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood, remember Hamas, by the way, is the Muslim Brotherhood in Gaza. Hamas is the offshoot of the Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood formed in Gaza, where it now rules. Well, journalists were asking Muslim Brotherhood leadership in Egypt, in Cairo here, in this case, about the relationship between Muslim Brotherhood and CARE, because they were always kind of cagey about that, and they didn't really want to emphasize that for obvious reasons, I would suspect. Oh, this is a sensitive subject. It's kind of problematic, especially after 9/11, you think? But the reporter persisted, and he said, well, would you say that there is a relationship between you two, you, Muslim Brotherhood, and CARE in the United States? And he finally was pressed to answer, yes, you can say that. So there it is, and that was published in the media. Here is a key Muslim Brotherhood leader. This is one of the Hamas leaders who was present at that 1993 Philadelphia meeting to form CARE, Nihad Awad. He is the executive director of CARE. You still see him on some of the interview programs and television shows interviewing when they want a spokesman for the Islamic side of an issue like Egypt. They put him on. Here is President Bush, right after 9/11 at that time. He was in an Islamic center here. Who's that behind him? That's Nihad Awad. That's how good they were at infiltrating our government. He was that high up, that close to our president. Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas. Here is Omar Ahmed again, CARE chairman of the board at that time. And he also spoke to the media. They're very willing to talk to reporters on the record. And here he says again, the quote that we saw earlier as well, Islam isn't in America to be equal to any other faith but to become dominant. Very upfront with this stuff. Here is Ibrahim Hooper. He is also a frequent guest on television news programs, interview programs, and here's what he says about wanting the government of the United States to be Islamic sometime in the future. But their goal, their objective, very clearly, plainly spoken. Problem though, CARE has very distinct identified links to terrorism, and here are 4 of their former employees, board members, who have been arrested, convicted, deported, or otherwise linked to terrorism. There they are with their mugshots. CARE. Now, unfortunately, until recently, CARE trained FBI agents. When the FBI wanted to learn about Islam because they needed to deal with Islamic communities across the country in their areas of jurisdiction, who do they go to? We need to learn sensitivity training. How do we deal with the Muslim community? Oh, let's ask CARE. And that's what they did. They got their training on how to deal with Muslims from CARE. Until a couple of years ago when they did move to sever ties with CARE. The FBI has now severed ties, at least officially from the headquarters level, with CARE. But until that time, that's what it was. CARE, by the way, also used to train Ohio State Police. I don't know for sure if they still do or not, but as of a couple of years ago, they did.